Welcome to Blossoming Homestead. I'm Leslie and this is my second garden tour. Now it is technically week 13 and we've had growth, so I'm excited to show you guys that. The bell pepper's finally growing and I do have some that are starting to show up on my other California wonder plants. So that's exciting. Now my tomatoes have not been super abundant and I fought for these tomatoes and they are finally starting to blush. I do have a zucchini that's almost ready to pick. And don't mind the weeds. Like I said, this was kind of a COVID garden. Like COVID happened, stores were emptied, and I went, we have to have a garden. And I hurried and tore everything up. So I had a couple garden beds made, but this bed, I literally just ripped up ground to place the plants in because I was moving so fast. So as we come along here, I do have my pumpkin. It is called a ghost pumpkin. Last time I wasn't so sure. I have two of them, but they're kind of wonky looking, so I don't know. My fennel is taking off. Now I have to figure out exactly what to do with it, but I do know that I can dehydrate those and have seasonings, and I can also use the bulb at the bottom and I guess fry it. Looks like everybody just chops it up, puts some oil on it, seasonings, and eats it. So now I was super excited for this buttercup plant and the earwigs completely, I thought they killed it, but it finally started growing. So if you think your plants are dead, just water them still. My nasturtium has finally started flowering. I do have sugar snap peas over there. But my mom also, when she went to the nursery, saw some more and they looked really rough and dead, and they pretty much did die, but I was able to get seeds off of them. And they're starting to grow again. And I think they planted some of their own seeds. And so I have some volunteer plants, so I'm super excited. The cantaloupe is growing. I don't have any cantaloupes yet, but the plant is blossoming and growing, and hopefully soon we'll see some success. I did grow that one from seed, so I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm hoping it's abundant. So this is my spaghetti squash. There's a couple plants here, and it has super, super curly cues in there. It's so fun. But I think it's only giving me male blossoms, so I haven't seen any fruit grow on it yet, but hopefully some female blossoms will pop up and we'll get some. So this year I've learned a lot about tomato plants. There's indeterminate and determinate tomato plants, and this one is a determinate, and I didn't know that when I planted it. And I didn't know what to do with it when I planted it, because like I said, this is my first ever garden. So it's exploding. And I debate cutting off some of the side stems so that it just keeps growing more upward instead of outward, but I don't know, maybe we'll just leave it and see how it goes. Here are my potato plants. They're not ready yet. So they just are getting bigger, looking bigger, and all I know is when they start dying back, it's time to look for those potatoes in the ground. So I haven't seen any poking out. If your potatoes poke out, you need to hurry and cover them with dirt, or else you'll have green potatoes. And I don't know, people say those are somewhat toxic. I have no idea. Cover your potato spuds if they peek out of the ground. So last week I showed you my cucumbers, and this week they've really taken off. There's a whole ton of new growth. This is probably gonna shoot out the other side. This is growing. You can see little ones in there. Super pokey. And this one is also growing. Now with my sugar snap peas, I'm hoping that I can get at least 100 seeds from them. So while we're still eating some of them, we're letting the rest of them kind of dry up and do their thing so I can get seeds, so I can have a ton more plants next year. They do look like they are kind of dying off. I figured that would be how it went with the heat. It's been really hot, but they're still going, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm new at this. Right here I have a sunflower. Can you see the head on that? And I'm so excited. I'm starting to see the inside of it, and it should blossom soon, and that will be super exciting. I definitely should not have planted it there because it'd be good for the corn to get all the sun that it can. But you live and you learn. Next time, I think I'll have a little area for flowers, and these big sunflowers will have a place for themselves. But I am excited to try harvesting sunflower seeds. Never done it, but my sisters told me a little bit on how to do it, and I'm excited to try it because these are the mammoth sunflowers, and they should get big, but we'll see how big they get. Now this is my yellow crookneck, and I have been waiting and waiting. Whew, that hornet's getting close. Waiting and waiting for it to produce something, because it's just kept growing and growing, and I've not gotten anything from it. And we finally we've got our first ones coming on. And on this one too. Ouch. Whew. Prickly. Now the corn is growing fantastically. It's probably one of the most exciting plants, I think, to grow, because it just keeps growing. It doesn't stop. It's automatic. It's so fun. So I did plant these from seeds and the sunflowers, and they are huge. Like I said, it was 13 weeks ago I planted, and we're about to get some corn harvest. So I'm excited for that. All right, so here, this bell pepper blew over. We had a big windstorm, and I was debating lifting it up, but I haven't, and we have another bell pepper growing. Here's another bell pepper, and then here I have pepperoncinis. And there's quite a few in there. It's kind of hard to see. Little baby ones. Because they just blend in so well. We do have these ones growing back here, and they're kind of curling. It's kind of funny. But we still haven't tasted these. I'm a little nervous because I know that they're going to be spicy. Now, I've been saving these on the plant so that I could show you guys how cute how red it is. It's almost like a Christmas plant. It's red and green. So happy, so fun. But I have a whole ton of peppers on this plant. Probably close to 10 that I need to harvest. Whew. This plant just keeps growing. I'm not super short, but near my garden, I'm really short. So in here, you can see all these tassels. And you can see the silks down here. And I can see pollen pieces in those. Now, how I planted my corn was the wrong way. You don't want to plant in a single straight line. Had I have known that when I was planting it, I wouldn't have done it. You kind of want to put them in blocks so that they can pollinate each other. But once the wind blows, this starts dropping pollen, and once the pollen touches the silks, then you get corn kernels. So I'm really excited about this corn. It's huge, it's producing, and I'm hoping to harvest it soon. Gosh, I can't believe how big that is. All right, now this plant looks a little rough in some spots. Other spots it looks healthy. This is my butternut squash. I keep hoping I'll get some butternut squash off of it, but it looks like it's just producing male blossoms. So I need to see why it's doing that and if there's even anything I can do to make it different. This one is definitely ready, and I'm not gonna eat it in front of you because I'll need milk and bread. It gets so hot. This Fonzie melon is exploding. It's all the way over here, and then it's all the way over there close to my pumpkin plants, which aren't really doing anything yet. But if you come and look, you can see it's growing really well. We should have a melon soon. Now, I put this TP together as fast as I could. These pole beans were taking off and getting tangled, and I've never grown them before. Next time, I'm gonna trellis them because it would be so much easier to see where all of the beans are if it was a little bit more spread out. But I am excited because I don't know if you can see this, but there's a pole bean right there. Hopefully it grows quick because I am excited for these beans. And they're still just taking off really wildly. Look at that. There's another one, actually 2. Oh yeah. I am ready for these. Over here, my sugar babies are growing, and we have at least 4. So here's our biggest one. Then we have another one here, another 2 here, and well, that's just how this goes. They camouflage really well. I know there's another one in there, and I can't find it. Down here is another Fonzie melon. And my kind of a mess of pole beans. But I do know I have another Fonzie melon down here, and I have a cucumber growing over here. We'll show you that. Now, I put just randomly a cucumber here because my mom gave me this plant later, and and so I hurried and I added it in, and I knew I was gonna get evening shade. I didn't know how it was gonna do, so it's kind of a test. The ones over there get sun pretty much all day long, and this one doesn't. So, looking down at it, it is exploding. We've got little cucumbers popping up. It's exploding. Some of the leaves in there are like this big, and my mom said she's never seen leaves that big. So next year I'm gonna give my cucumbers evening shade, all of them, because this cucumber plant has been giving us the most. All right, that does it for this week's garden tour. I'm having fun looking back on last week's and seeing how much growth has actually happened in the garden. So hope I see you next week. If you're just tuning in, I'm doing this channel so that I can learn from myself, see what I've done, see what I can do better, because my plan is to have a huge garden. So thanks for joining me.